No, it would be nice. It just
it breaks our sound.
Oh, it does break our sound. Okay. Okay. You have to share this. So welcome everyone on day, what day is it?
Day 9.
Day 9.
Wow. Almost halfway.
Almost halfway, that's true.
Yeah.
You guys are doing well. We want to congratulate those of you who were sticking with it, and despite, I'm sure, so many challenges, so many things that are pulling us in so many different directions, but you guys are still somehow managing to stay afloat. So, hats off to you guys. So the topic for today is actually rasa, which is a huge topic. It's actually what our hearts really, really desire in whatever we do, right? We're always looking for some pleasure. And every living entity is actually driven by this desire for pleasure, including even an ant. And how do we know that? Like if you put a little grain of sugar in some corner of a room, which is completely invisible, somehow the ant finds it.
Yeah, we are all creatures of taste, actually.
We're all creatures of taste.
And whoever has taste in whatever, no effort is needed to attract it. Like just a child gets a video game or a comic. Like I remember when we were growing up, we used to have this Phantom comics. And hook or crook, we used to find Phantom comics, and we have to make sure that we find all of them sequentially. If there was a gap in one of them, then you'd like search the whole town to find somebody who had that missing comic. But there was so much taste.
Yeah, the whole world, actually. I like what you said. We are all creatures of taste. And you see that in animals, you see that in plants, you see that in an ant. Everyone is looking for pleasure, right? And so Anandamaya Abhyasha, that every living entity is, and so we cannot artificially just eliminate the whole pleasure principle, right? So here is a nice little poem that we thought we'll start with. And the name of the poem is The Subject Tonight is Love. So the subject tonight is love, and for tomorrow night as well. As a matter of fact, I know of no better topic for us to discuss until we all die. So this is what we are all looking for, this rasa, and that rasa is connected to this quest for love. And, and that's what we talk about. That's what all the entire movie industry is actually based on the subject matter of taste and love, right? Bliss.
And whatever we love, we carry it to our deathbed. Like so many stories of people who are on their deathbed, but they are like engrossed in something that they have to take care of, the family or the business, whatever they have tasted. That's what they think of.
That's what they think of. So what is this rasa? So this rasa is basically a special mellow or a special pleasure that we find when we do anything in this world. So, and there are different kinds. We'll talk about the details of that, but there are, 5 primary rasas, 7 secondary rasas, but, there's a whole Natya Shastra, which means the philosophy of theater, which deals very, very intricately with, how to evoke those feelings of rasa. But here, before we get into that, this is a very interesting story from Mahabharata, which is about this.
Or we can say this man finds his rasa in a very unique situation.
Yeah. So here is a man who is being chased by a mad elephant. So, we come from Assam. Assam is a land of elephants. And if you have a mad elephant, they're really, really crazy. Like they can upturn like a full
they can raise a whole village, actually.
They can.
They raise a whole village to ground.
Yeah. So this man was actually being chased by a mad elephant, and he was just running and running and running, and he didn't know, he was panting and he didn't know what to do. And finally he gets to the edge of a cliff, and he looks down, and there is this dark, deep valley. And then he looks at the back, and the elephant is still out running after him. He doesn't know what to do. So he decides to jump off the cliff. So when he jumps off the cliff, he doesn't fall into the valley. Instead, there's a tree there with a branch. So he somehow gets caught in that branch upside down.
So he's hanging upside down, and in the meantime, this elephant, he figures out that this man is still is there. He can still get to him. So he starts basically shaking the tree with his trunk, as you can see. And this man, while he's hanging upside down, here is shown that he's hanging right way, but he's actually hanging upside
down. Yeah.
And then the branch on which he's hanging upside down starts shaking wildly.
And then there's actually a beehive. As you can see, there's a beehive there. And when he starts to shake it, no, actually the elephant comes and starts to shake it.
Yes.
Right. So the bees, they start coming out of the beehive and they start stinging him all over the body. And if that's not enough, as he looks down, there is a valley, and in that valley there are deadly snakes. And then we're waiting for him to, fall off. And if that's not enough, on the particular branch that he's hanging on, there is a white rat and there is a black rat that's actually cutting away on that branch.
And in all this commotion, what's happening is that the bees are stinging him and he's crying out in pain. But amidst all this, what happens is, because of the shaking, some honey actually drips out from that honeycomb.
One
drop of honey. And somehow it lands on, it starts dripping, and then the man somehow latches on his tongue onto the drop of honey, and then he catches it.
He catches that. And when he catches that, when that one drop of honey lands on his tongue, he says, oh, life is so wonderful. It's actually a wonderful world.
After all the trouble, I got to
taste this honey. Yeah. So I guess there's so different, all of these different things depicts like different things. The mad elephant running after you or running after this man depicts time, which is chasing all of us, right? And then the stinging bees, they represent all the different kinds of suffering that we encounter in this world, suffering caused by our friends and relatives and family members, and right, that's like the stinging. And then the black rat and the white rat represents day and night, which is eating away at the trunk or the branch of our life. And the snakes, they represent death.
And the elephant also represents death. It's basically chasing us every single day. And I guess the irony of this whole thing is that still, in any situation of life, we are able to find some pleasure because we are pleasure seeking.
We're pleasure seeking. And that one drop of honey represents the happiness that one gets in this world.
After so much trouble.
So Bhagavad Gita and all these other, books, the Bhakti wisdom books, they talk about how the living entity actually wants unlimited pleasure. But all the happiness in this world, all the way up to the Svarga Loka or heavenly planet, is actually compared to just one drop of water in a desert. And so that is the reason why living entities are always feeling parched and thirsty and dissatisfied. And so the Bhagavad Gita comes in and says, all right, here is an ocean of rasa that you can drown yourself in and experience that pleasure that your heart is actually really hankering for, which is not to be found anywhere else.
So the thing is that even because we are a spiritual being, we have a spiritual taste. And even the whole universe, if it were to come to us, this material universe full of whatever it has to offer, still that will not satisfy us because we have different taste buds actually. Our taste buds are different. We don't know that. We have kind of lost our sense of taste. Like many people lost their sense of taste during Corona. So we have also lost our spiritual sense of taste. And as a result, we're trying to taste so many different things in this material, thinking that, yeah, this will probably satisfy my taste, but it doesn't satisfy our taste.
It doesn't satisfy the taste. And that has been certified by Krishna in this verse. Oh, well, there was another verse we thought about, like how from the highest planet down to the lowest planet, all of these places are actually, Krishna certifies that as being Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. Dukhalaya means that there are places of misery and they're temporary. And that is the reason why, because it's constantly being interrupted. Our quest for pleasure is being interrupted by these two qualities of this world. Hence, we are never able to experience that uninterrupted happiness. So then what do? We can't, like, how do you, so does that mean, because many spiritual paths, then they say, all right, this whole world is just a place of suffering, give it up, stop it, just repress yourself, deny everything, and just live a life of just self-deprivation. But the Bhagavad Gita doesn't say that. The Bhagavad Gita comes in from a very, very broad perspective. So let's look at this verse.
Vishya vinivartante niraharasya dehina rasavarjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate.
Though the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, the taste for sense objects remains. But seizing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste is fixed in consciousness.
So it's a very encouraging verse which says that yes, we have our propensities for enjoying different things in the material world. So let us try to acquire higher taste. Once we acquire a higher taste, a spiritual taste, even a tiny bit of spiritual taste, it doesn't have to be a whole lot, then that actually pulls us in that direction. So it's a very practical recommendation that Krishna gives. He's not like saying that you have to do this or you have to do that. He says, just try to acquire a taste,
yeah,
a little bit of taste.
And only when we acquire that higher taste, then the lower taste automatically pales in comparison. And you see that in the lives of all these great mystics and great devotees. To them, material rasa is not something that they have to avoid consciously. It's just not good enough because they have acquired something that is of a much higher, more refined pleasure.
Yeah, like if there is dry bread and somebody serves you like hot puris or parathas, then there is no choice, right? It's automatic. The choice is automatic.
The choice is automatic. So you can now tell what Lokadaksha's favorite, food stuff are. So this is what we are trying to acquire through the process of mantra meditation. This mantra is actually considered to be the reservoir, an ocean of rasa. And Krishna is actually known as Akhila Rasa Murti, the unalloyed personification of rasa. And so by chanting this mantra, we are coming in contact with this huge ocean of rasa which the heart has been anchoring for the longest time. And as we continue to chant and as we continue to become more and more purified, then we'll start to experience this rasa at a level that actually the senses will not be able to take in. That's the extent of this rasa. So we will.
So our capacity to enjoy actually unlimited because we are a spiritual being. So we are meant to enjoy in unrestricted manner. But by looking for material taste, we have limited our capacity to enjoy.
Our potentiality for, just like you like puris.
Yeah.
How many puris can you eat?
I can eat a lot.
Well, okay. But a lot is still not as many as the senses would desire, right?
Exactly.
So, so the example that is sometimes given is like in India, sometimes you see that, we don't recommend it, but you see these kids, there's a truck that's moving at a very high speed and they'll just latch on to the back of the truck. And then even though they are maybe on a bike, they're actually moving at the speed of the truck. So in the same way, our senses have limited capacity for enjoyment, but when we connect with the senses of the Supreme Person, then our capacity for enjoyment also expands beyond imagination. So with that,
So with this mantra, we are developing our spiritual taste. We're just developing it. And while we are chanting, we can pray that, Krishna, I don't have any taste for your names. Please let me develop some taste for your names. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. So we'll stop here. Thank you all for joining. We'll hear from you if you have any reflections or comments or questions, anything that you may want to talk about. Or your experience with taste. Experience with taste. Amrita, go ahead.
Yeah, Hare Krishna. So when we were talking about taste, that rasa that we are all looking for, this thought came into my mind that, our senses are looking for that satisfaction. Yet, whether it's, we go to a beautiful place and we take in the sights and it gives our, sight satisfaction. Yet, if our other senses are not satisfied, that satisfaction isn't complete. So, coming back to the mantra is complete, and that's why it satisfies all our senses at the same time. So that was my realization.
Beautiful point. Beautiful point. Thank you for sharing that.
And actually, that's true. Actually, exactly what you said is actually described by Acharya, that in the material world, like say if you want to experience the conjugal rasa or the parental rasa, then even if you become a parent and you may experience the rasa, but you still need the conjugal rasa to make you feel complete. Or you may still need the friendship. Like even after people get married to their soulmate, they still want their friends. Without their friends, they still don't feel complete. But it is described that in the spiritual rasa, one rasa actually fulfills the desires of all the other rasas.
That's very true. And sense satisfies the need of all the senses. This is kind of mystical.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hare Krishna, Loka Vidarbha Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I really liked today's topic, the rasa. As you said, it's very deep. And my small realization that I have is like, unless you try to get rid of lower taste, unless you put an effort to go into higher taste, the lower taste does not go away. So like, for example, I used to eat onion garlic. So when I started eating food without onion garlic, that gave me a different taste of what the food was with onion garlic. Because with that, it was, only onion garlic, that's the taste that was coming. So the point that I was saying is like, unless you try a different taste, which is a little higher, you don't know that you are already stuck in a lower taste for a long time. So many times we hesitate in trying a different taste.
Very nice.
That's very true, because change is always difficult, and even though it may be good for us, still we all resist change.
Yeah, we all resist change. That's true. And I guess the beauty of bhakti is that just by adding this higher taste, the lower taste automatically goes away. And I think that's really the greatest proof of the pudding lies in its eating. And so, Prabhupada actually, instead of trying to focus too much on, what we should not do, he just focused on, let's just try to connect with the spiritual taste.
Exactly.
And then let's not worry too much about, what I can or cannot give up, or do I have to give this up on the path of bhakti. We will not have to give up anything, because that thing will actually give us up at some point.
It will not find taste in us.
It will not find taste in us. So,
Prabhuji, I just have one-liner joke. Can I share today?
you're frozen, yeah.
Sorry. I just have one-liner joke. Is it okay?
Yeah, maybe you. So while we wait for him, maybe if there's someone else who wants to go, please go ahead. Manjari, any thoughts from you? We want to wish you a very happy birthday. So happy that I was hoping that you could join today.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Happy birthday to Lalit also. And it is truly special to see you today and always.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. And Turtle, we went ahead and posted that mantra that we chant before chanting Hare Krishna on Circle SO, so you'll be able to access that.
Okay, great.
All right, so if there are no further comments, then maybe we can stop here today and resume tomorrow. We encourage you to really try and finish this 21 days. Since we have started, a vow actually in bhakti has great significance, and it bestows great mercy upon us. So, just do it. And then you'll see how it'll impact your lives. So please don't drop out in the middle, let's just try and get to the finish line.
And even if you can't make it on a day or two,
Yeah,
you can always come back.
you can always
it's
come
not
back.
the end of.
Yeah, it's not the end. Thank you. Thank you for your birthday wishes.
Thank you all. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Happy
Krishna.
birthday, Prabhuji.
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Wish you very happy Krishna conscious birthday. Loka Prabhu.